The black shuttle did not land on Mustafar. It fought its way down. Ash filled the air. Lava fell in long orange ropes. The pilot could not see the platform. The pilot kept the nose up because the wind on Mustafar does not forgive. Ahsoka Tano sat behind the pilot with her sabers off and her hood up and her eyes on the lava. She had been at the Jedi Temple 6 hours ago. She had heard the council order in her sleep. She had felt Obi-Wan leave Coruscant without saying a word to her. She had felt Anakin's fear spike the way a tuning fork spikes when it is hit. She had come anyway. She had promised herself she would not come. She had promised herself this on Mortis. She had promised herself this the night she walked out of the temple with 2 sabers and a Padawan braid she had already cut. She had promised herself she would not come back. The Force had not let her keep that promise. The Force had pushed her into a shuttle and told her to fly. She did not know what she would find at the end. She only knew Obi-Wan was already there. She only knew Anakin was already there. She only knew the council had ordered Obi-Wan to bring Anakin back in chains or leave him in the lava. The shuttle tried to land 3 times. The wind pushed it back twice. The 3rd time Ahsoka dropped the ramp herself. The wind tore the ramp half off. The wind tried to tear Ahsoka too. Ahsoka jumped before the ramp finished opening. She landed on a slab of black stone. The slab was warm. The slab was wider than her sabers. She was alone on the platform. Obi-Wan was not there. Anakin was not there. The lava was there. The fight had not started yet. The basalt under her boots cracked when she stepped. The crack ran in a long straight line down the slope toward the lava rivers below. The crack sounded like ice on a frozen lake 2 seconds before the ice gives. Ahsoka had heard that sound on Christopsis once. She had walked on a frozen lake once. She had been 14. She had walked on the ice because Anakin had walked on the ice first. Anakin had walked on the ice because the Jedi had told him it was safe. The Jedi had been wrong on Christopsis. The Jedi were wrong on Mustafar too. She walked inland. She followed the heat. The heat led her up a ridge. The ridge was high. The ridge was narrow. The ridge gave her a view of the entire basin. The basin held a gathering site. The gathering site was empty. The gathering site was where Obi-Wan and Anakin had agreed to meet for the last lightsaber conversation the Jedi would ever hold. She felt them both before she saw them. Obi-Wan's signature was blue and patient. Anakin's signature was yellow and broken. The signature of Anakin had not felt that broken since Ahsoka had watched him walk into the Jedi Council chambers a lifetime ago. Ahsoka did not know that Anakin had been kneeling at a Sith shrine. Ahsoka did not know that Anakin had already killed younglings in the temple. Ahsoka did not know how far Anakin had fallen. Ahsoka only knew that the man she had once loved as a master was now standing at the far end of the basin with his blue saber in his hand. She felt Obi-Wan's signature change when it sensed her on the ridge. Obi-Wan's signature stiffened. Obi-Wan had not expected anyone to follow him. Obi-Wan had briefed the Jedi Council this morning alone. Obi-Wan had walked to the landing pad alone. Obi-Wan had boarded the shuttle alone. Ahsoka had stowed herself in the cargo hold before he had even started the engines. Obi-Wan had not known. Obi-Wan had felt nothing in the cargo hold because Ahsoka had learned to mask her signature in the cargo hold 3 years ago on a run with Hondo Ohnaka. Ahsoka had masked her signature because pirates did not ask questions when the cargo hold was empty. Anakin was alone on the basin floor. Anakin was waiting for Obi-Wan. Anakin had been waiting for Obi-Wan for a long time. Anakin had wanted the duel to happen. Anakin had wanted Obi-Wan to come and end it. Anakin had wanted Obi-Wan to give him the last permission the Jedi had not yet taken. Anakin had not slept in 3 days. Anakin had not eaten in 2. Anakin had not spoken to Padme in 1. Anakin had lost one hand on the steps of the Jedi Temple. Anakin had lost the other hand on the wrist of a Sith Lord who called the other hand a gift. Anakin had lost his name somewhere in the middle. Anakin had lost his master somewhere in the betrayal. Anakin had lost the prophecy somewhere in the choice. Ahsoka did not know that yet. Ahsoka was on the ridge. Ahsoka was above them. Ahsoka could see both of them. Ahsoka could not yet decide whose side she would stand on. Odam Yanam Thind. The shuttle that brought Obi-Wan to Mustafar landed on the basin floor. The ramp lowered. The ramp stayed level. Obi-Wan walked down the ramp in full Jedi robes. Obi-Wan walked with the calm of a man who had already lost. Obi-Wan did not know Ahsoka was on the ridge above him. Obi-Wan did not know the council had not told Ahsoka about the mission. Obi-Wan did not know that the order to chain Anakin had been kept from Ahsoka on purpose. Anakin saw Obi-Wan. Anakin's shoulders straightened. Anakin's mouth closed. Anakin's hand tightened on the saber. The basin was quiet. The lava was loud. The lava was louder than the wind. The lava was louder than the breathing in both their chests. Anakin spoke first. He said Padme's name. He said the dream. He said the children. He said the Chancellor. He said the Jedi had lied. He said Obi-Wan had lied. He said he had been the chosen one. He said no one had told him what the chosen one was supposed to do with the prophecy. He said the council had used him. He said the council had used him to win the war. He said the council had used him to keep the Senate quiet. He said the council had used him to kill Sith Lords. He said the council had put a leash on him and called it training. He said the leash was why he could not save his mother. He said the leash was why he had never saved anyone who mattered. He said the leash was why Padme was dying. Obi-Wan listened to every word. Obi-Wan did not interrupt. Obi-Wan's face did not move. Obi-Wan was still the way a man is still when he has already made his decision. Obi-Wan had made his decision on the cruiser. Obi-Wan had made his decision when he had watched the security holo of Anakin kneeling at the shrine. Obi-Wan had made his decision when Mace Windu had told him what the temple looked like. Obi-Wan had made his decision before he had ever set foot on Mustafar. Ahsoka was on the ridge. Ahsoka heard all of it. The Force carried it up to her in clean lines. She heard the dream. She heard the children. She heard the Chancellor. She heard the name Padme. Ahsoka loved Padme too. Ahsoka had loved Padme since Padme had braided her hair at 12. Ahsoka had stood beside Padme at a wedding she could not attend. Ahsoka had carried a holo of Padme in her pack through every campaign of the war. Ahsoka had not known Padme was dying. Anakin had not known either. Anakin had just learned. Obi-Wan drew his saber. The blue blade lit the basin. The reflection crossed Anakin's face. Anakin's yellow eyes narrowed. Anakin's hand tightened more. Anakin lifted his own saber. The blade was not blue. The blade was blue for a half second, and then the blade went dark. Ahsoka saw it. Ahsoka saw the Kyber bleed. Ahsoka saw the choke Anakin had done to the crystal on the Jedi Temple steps in her imagination. The dark blade came on a half second later. The dark blade did not sound like a saber. The dark blade sounded like a wound. The two men stood 10 meters apart. The first letter of the fight began without a word. The first letter of the fight was a step. The first step was Obi-Wan's. Obi-Wan came forward and lifted his blade into the high guard. Anakin answered by stepping back. Anakin answered by sliding sideways across the basalt. Anakin answered by lifting his dark blade into the same high guard. The two men mirrored each other the way two brothers mirror each other when they have not seen each other for a year. They held the high guard for 3 breaths. The lava fell behind them in long orange curtains. The wind pulled the curtains sideways. The platform shuddered under their feet. The first 3 breaths were still. The first 3 breaths were louder than the duel itself. Anakin struck first. Anakin swung low. Obi-Wan caught it on the cross. The blades kissed. The kiss sounded like a single bell rung once. Anakin pressed forward. Obi-Wan stepped back. The duel began. Ahsoka climbed down the ridge. The ridge was steep. The ridge bit her fingers. The ridge did not stop her. She walked toward the basin floor. She did not light her sabers. She did not call out. She did not run. She walked until she was directly between the two men. She walked into the line of fire. She walked into the space where Obi-Wan's blade would have met Anakin's blade in 3 more seconds. The two men saw her at the same moment. The two men stopped moving their blades at the same moment. The two men tried to keep striking at the same moment and missed the contact. The blades passed each other in the air over Ahsoka's head. A strand of her hair lifted into the air and fell back down. Anakin blinked. Obi-Wan blinked. The two men recognized the white markings on her face. The two men recognized the braids. The two men recognized the Padawan they had once shared. Ahsoka stood between them. Ahsoka did not draw. "Master," she said. The word had not left her mouth in 3 years. The word felt wrong. The word felt right. The word was the only word that fit. Anakin heard it. Anakin's mouth opened. Anakin's saber dipped. Anakin remembered the night he had carried her off Christopsis. Anakin remembered the night he had walked her down the temple steps after her knighting. Anakin remembered the last hug she had given him before she had walked out of the Order. Obi-Wan lowered his saber first. Obi-Wan did not put it away. Obi-Wan held it at his side. Obi-Wan watched Ahsoka with the calm of a man who was about to be told something the rest of the Order was not supposed to know. Ahsoka looked at Obi-Wan next. She did not call him master again. She had used the word once. She would not use it twice. She looked at him the way a Jedi looks at another Jedi. She looked at him the way a soldier looks at a soldier who has been given an order she cannot follow. She spoke. Furia. She told Obi-Wan the council had lied. She told Obi-Wan the council had used Anakin. She told Obi-Wan the council had used her. She told Obi-Wan the Council had been afraid of Anakin's power for 20 years, and the fear had eaten the Order from the inside. She told Obi-Wan the Council had been right and wrong at the same time. Obi-Wan listened. She told Obi-Wan Anakin had been afraid of losing Padme. She told Obi-Wan Anakin had been afraid in the way a child is afraid. She told Obi-Wan the Chancellor had used the fear. Obi-Wan listened. She told Obi-Wan that chaining Anakin would not end the war. She told Obi-Wan that chaining Anakin would not end the Empire. She told Obi-Wan that chaining Anakin would end the Jedi. Obi-Wan did not look away. She told Obi-Wan the only way to save Anakin was to take him from the Chancellor. She told Obi-Wan the only way to save Anakin was to take him off the planet. She told Obi-Wan the only way to save Anakin was to keep him alive long enough for the fear to drain out of him. Obi-Wan did not interrupt. Obi-Wan let her speak. Obi-Wan respected her. Anakin did not interrupt either. Anakin was listening. Anakin was listening to a voice he had not heard in 3 years. Anakin was listening to a voice that had once told him it was okay to fail. Anakin was listening to a voice the Council had failed. Anakin lowered his saber 3 inches. Ahsoka turned to Anakin. She spoke his old name again. She told him Padme was alive. She told him the dream was a lie planted by the Chancellor. She told him the Chancellor had engineered Padme's condition. She told him Padme had 2 heartbeats in her. She told him his children had been born before his fall. Anakin heard it. Anakin's hands shook. Anakin had spent 3 days believing Padme was dead. Anakin had spent 3 days believing the Chancellor's lie about Padme. Anakin had spent 3 days believing the only way to save her was to do what the Chancellor said. Anakin had spent 3 days kneeling at the shrine because the shrine was the only place on Mustafar that felt colder than the lava. Ahsoka told Anakin she could not stop the Council. Ahsoka told Anakin the Council had already sent someone to kill Padme. Ahsoka told Anakin the Council had sent someone to kill the children. Ahsoka told Anakin the Council had been afraid of the children too. Ahsoka told Anakin the fear had spread to Padme's medical shuttle. Anakin did not move. The lava fell behind him. The lava did not move him. Ahsoka told Anakin she could take him to Padme. Ahsoka told Anakin she had a ship. Ahsoka told Anakin Padme was on Palis Massa. Ahsoka told Anakin the medics had not let Padme go. Ahsoka told Anakin the medics had not told the Council. Anakin lowered his saber to the ground. Obi-Wan watched. Ahsoka told Anakin he could come with her. She told him he could see Padme before the children were born. She told him he could hold their hands. She told him he would not be the chosen one until the children arrived. She told him even the prophecy did not say he had to fall. Anakin put his saber on the stone. Obi-Wan stepped forward. Obi-Wan's blue saber was still lit. Obi-Wan's face was still calm. Obi-Wan did not strike. Obi-Wan walked to where Anakin stood. Obi-Wan stopped a meter from him. Obi-Wan looked at Ahsoka. He asked Ahsoka one question. He asked her how long she had known about Padme. He asked her how long she had carried the hollow. He asked her how long she had planned to come here. Ahsoka answered every question. She had known about Padme since the wedding. She had carried the hollow since the first day on the road. She had planned to come here since the Council had briefed Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan nodded. Obi-Wan remembered the night he had walked Anakin to Padme's door after their wedding. Obi-Wan had been the only witness. Obi-Wan had watched them hold hands through the door. Obi-Wan had walked away with a smile. He asked her a second question. He asked her what would happen to the Jedi if he walked away now. Ahsoka answered. She told him the Order would fracture. She told him the war would end. She told him the Emperor would rise. She told him the children would one day become the target. She told him the target was already on them. Obi-Wan nodded again. He asked Ahsoka a third question. He asked her which choice mattered more. Ahsoka did not hesitate. Ahsoka answered the way only a former Padawan could answer. She told him the man mattered more. She told him the Order mattered more than the man. She told him the children mattered more than the Order. Obi-Wan listened. Obi-Wan closed his eyes. Obi-Wan took off his robe. Obi-Wan took off the Jedi cloak. Obi-Wan took off the rank that had been stitched to his sleeve for a decade. He placed them on the stone beside Anakin's saber. He knelt on the stone. He bowed. He bowed to Ahsoka. He bowed to Anakin. He bowed to the lava. He bowed to the children Anakin had not yet held. Anakin watched. Anakin did not interrupt Obi-Wan's bow. Anakin had once bowed to Obi-Wan in a different valley. Anakin had once bowed to Obi-Wan in the rain on a campaign that had lasted a year. Anakin had once promised Obi-Wan he would always be his brother. The promise had survived 19 years of war. The promise had survived Order 66. The promise would survive this basin too. Obi-Wan stood. Obi-Wan took a breath. Obi-Wan stepped away from the saber and the robe. He spoke his name. He spoke his own name without the title. He said he would go with them. Ahsoka nodded. Ahsoka lifted her hood. Anakin lifted his glove. Obi-Wan lifted the cloak. The three of them walked inland together. The lava behind them did not stop their footsteps. The wind behind them did not stop their footsteps. The council behind them did not stop their footsteps. Their footsteps made a single rhythm. The single rhythm was old. The single rhythm was the rhythm Obi-Wan had heard on the floor of the Jedi Temple when he had first walked Anakin into the Youngling Hall. On Coruscant, the council chamber did not know any of this. Mace Windu stood in the center of the chamber and waited. The council had given Mace Windu the job of waiting. The council had told Mace Windu to wait for Obi-Wan's report. The council had told Mace Windu they would receive Obi-Wan's report through the hollow. The hollow was still open. The hollow was still showing black stone and orange lava. The hollow did not show anything else. Mace Windu stared at the hollow for 11 minutes. Mace did not speak. Mace did not move. Mace did not tell Yoda what he thought. Mace watched Obi-Wan lay his robes on the stone. Mace watched Ahsoka climb down the ridge. Mace watched Anakin kneel beside the sabers. Fended the fort. Mace closed the hollow himself. Theo Henda Sonken fort. Mace did not tell Yoda. Mace did not tell the Senate. Mace did not tell the Chancellor. Mace did something else. Mace did the thing only a Jedi Master could do when he understood the shape of what he had just lost. Mace waited. T-Dio. The Chancellor was in his office. The Chancellor was pacing. The Chancellor did not know Obi-Wan had walked off the path. The Chancellor did not know Anakin had put down his saber. The Chancellor did not know Ahsoka had carried a hollow of Padme in her pack for 3 years. The Chancellor believed the duel would end with a body in the lava. The 501st was in their barracks. The 501st had been told to wait for the Chancellor's next order. The 501st did not know the Chancellor had no next order. The 501st did not know they would never be sent to the temple again. The 501st did not know the temple was already empty. Order 66 had been issued. Ahsoka had already started to undo it. The shuttle that had brought Ahsoka to the ridge lifted off. The shuttle lifted all 3 of them. The shuttle turned toward Polis Massa. Ahsoka sat in the cockpit. Anakin sat in the cargo hold with his saber on his knees. Obi-Wan sat in the cargo hold with his robes on his knees. No one spoke. The shuttle entered real space above Polis Massa. The medical frigate was still docked at the station. Padme was still in the medbay. Padme's heart rate was still steady. Padme's children were still inside her. Ahsoka landed the shuttle. She walked Padme's doctor to the cargo hold. The doctor saw Anakin. The doctor saw Obi-Wan. The doctor did not move. The doctor stepped aside. The doctor let them pass. Padme lay in the medbay. Padme was awake. Padme was holding 2 small heartbeats in her own hand. Padme was not afraid. Padme had been awake since the order had come in. Padme had not told the order. Anakin walked to her bed. Anakin did not speak. Anakin sat down on the edge of the bed. Anakin took her hand. Padme had 2 heartbeats in her wrist. Anakin could feel them. Anakin could also feel Obi-Wan behind him. Obi-Wan stood at the door of the medbay. Obi-Wan did not enter. Obi-Wan let them have 3 seconds. Ahsoka stood behind Obi-Wan. Ahsoka did not enter. Ahsoka let them have 5 seconds. Padme looked up at Anakin. Padme spoke Padme's first word in the entire alternate timeline. She asked Anakin what had taken him so long. Anakin did not answer. Anakin was holding her hand. Anakin was holding 2 heartbeats. Anakin was holding his future. The medbay was quiet. The doctor came back into the medbay after a minute. The doctor was carrying a small tray. The tray had a teacup. The tea was Naboo tea. The doctor had brewed it 10 minutes ago. The doctor set the tray on the bedstand beside Padme. Padme reached for the cup with her free hand. Padme could not lift the cup. Anakin lifted the cup for her. Padme drank. Anakin watched Padme drink. Anakin had watched Padme drink tea 1,000 times across the war. Anakin had watched Padme drink tea in the Senate office. Anakin had watched Padme drink tea on a balcony after a campaign. Anakin had watched Padme drink tea through a door he could not open. The door was open now. Padme looked at Anakin over the cup. She asked him a question she had been holding for 3 years. She asked him if he still loved her. Anakin told her yes. Anakin told her he had always loved her. Anakin told her the council had tried to take her picture out of his quarters. Anakin had put the picture back 3 times. The council had stopped trying. Obi-Wan left the doorway. Obi-Wan walked to the second bed in the medbay. The second bed had not been used. Obi-Wan sat on the second bed. Obi-Wan folded his hands. Obi-Wan was now the 3rd silent man in the room. The medbay on Polis Massa was quiet. The lava on Mustafar was still falling. The council on Coruscant was still waiting. The Chancellor was still pacing. The 501st was still in their barracks. The galaxy was still turning. None of it mattered. Ahsoka had walked into a basin between 2 masters. Ahsoka had changed the future by speaking first. Ahsoka had moved the line that morning. Ahsoka had held the line the way only an apprentice who had left the Order could hold it. She had not done it for the Jedi. She had not done it for the Republic. She had not done it for the Chancellor. She had done it for a boy who had once held her hand at 12. She had done it for a woman who had braided her hair at 12. She had done it for the 2 heartbeats she had never met. The medbay would hold them for one more night. The medbay would then fly them to Alderaan. Bail Organa would meet them at the port. The port would be quiet. The port would hold a sleeping baby. The port would hold one more baby in 3 days. The galaxy would not know yet. The Empire would not rise. The Emperor would not find them. The 2 heartbeats would beat for 19 years. The 2 heartbeats would grow into a son and a daughter who would one day meet their father at a rebel camp on Endor when the war had run out. Ahsoka would not be there at Endor. Ahsoka would be on a different road with a different student. Obi-Wan would be there. 2 heartbeats had changed the galaxy. Ahsoka had given them back.